Ever feel like the Old Testament is a dusty, unopened book relegated to a shelf of forgotten lore? Perhaps it conjures images of stern patriarchs, simplistic morality tales, and a world impossibly distant from our own. But what if that image is a carefully curated illusion, a veneer obscuring a far more complex and challenging reality? Prepare to have your assumptions shattered, because we're about to unveil a shocking truth. The Old Testament isn't what you think it is. Forget Sunday school narratives and sanitized summaries. We're not interested in perpetuating comfortable myths. Instead, we're diving headfirst into the ancient texts themselves, peeling back the layers of interpretation that have accumulated over millennia to reveal the raw, unfiltered stories that lie beneath. This isn't a gentle stroll through familiar territory. It's a daring expedition into a landscape of moral ambiguity, theological paradox, and historical upheaval. Imagine crumbling clay tablets unearthed from the scorching sands of Mesopotamia, their cuneiform script whispering secrets of forgotten empires. Picture vibrant murals adorning the walls of ancient temples, depicting scenes of both breathtaking beauty and unspeakable violence. Envision sweeping desert landscapes stretching as far as the eye can see, concealing within their desolate embrace the ruins of civilizations swallowed by time. These are the visual touchstones of our journey, the tangible remnants of a world that shaped the Old Testament and in turn was shaped by it. We'll be encountering rebellious women who defied patriarchal norms, bizarre divine commands that challenge our modern sensibilities, and civilizations whose rise and fall serve as stark reminders of the impermanence of human achievement. We'll grapple with uncomfortable questions about the nature of God, the origins of suffering, and the enduring struggle between good and evil. This isn't just an academic exercise, a dry recitation of historical facts. We'll be exploring the profound connections between the Old Testament and our modern lives, uncovering universal themes of love, loss, betrayal, and redemption that resonate across cultures and centuries. We'll see how these ancient stories continue to inform our understanding of ourselves, our relationships, and our place in the world. As we unravel each surprising fact, a clearer, more nuanced picture will begin to emerge. We'll discover that the Old Testament is far more than a collection of religious doctrines or historical chronicles. It's a living, breathing document, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit to grapple with the mysteries of existence. It's a mirror reflecting our own hopes, fears, and contradictions. Prepare to confront uncomfortable truths, to question long-held beliefs, and to see the Old Testament in a completely new light. Because the final fact we uncover will completely redefine how you perceive this foundational text, forever altering your understanding of its significance and its relevance to the world we inhabit today. This is more than just a history lesson. It's a revelation waiting to unfold. Our journey begins now, into the heart of a story far more complex, challenging, and ultimately rewarding than you ever imagined. Are you ready to embark on this transformative exploration? Turning our attention to discovery, let's focus on one particularly striking artifact, the Tel Dan Stele. Discovered in 1993 and 1994 during excavations at Tel Dan in northern Israel, this fragmented basalt stone offers an unparalleled glimpse into the historical and political landscape of the 9th century BCE. Its recovery wasn't a grand, publicized event, but a slow, meticulous process of sifting through rubble and piecing together broken fragments. Initially, archaeologists, led by Avraham Biran, were excavating a section of the outer gate of the ancient city when they unearthed the first fragment. Its significance wasn't immediately apparent. It was just another piece of stone among many. However, as they cleaned and examined it more closely, they began to notice something remarkable. Inscribed letters written in an ancient Aramaic script. The excitement grew exponentially when a second, larger fragment was discovered the following year, fitting neatly with the first and revealing more of the inscription. The text itself, though incomplete, caused an immediate sensation. The Aramaic inscription, likely commissioned by a king of Damascus, boasts of victories over the House of David. This was the first extra-biblical reference to David, a figure previously known almost exclusively from the Old Testament. The discovery provided tangible archaeological evidence for the existence of a Davidic dynasty, lending historical weight to the biblical narrative. Prior to this, some scholars had questioned the historicity of David, suggesting he might be a purely legendary figure. The Tel Dan Stele, however, didn't offer a simple confirmation of the biblical account. Rather, it presented a different perspective, a rival kingdom's version of events. The inscription details the king of Damascus's military successes, portraying David's kingdom as a defeated foe. This highlights a crucial aspect of archaeological discoveries. They rarely provide straightforward answers. Instead, they offer complex, multifaceted perspectives that challenge and enrich our understanding of the past. The initial interpretation of the stele was met with both excitement and skepticism. Some scholars hailed it as definitive proof of David's existence, while others questioned the accuracy of the inscription, suggesting possible misinterpretations or even forgery, though this was largely dismissed. The debate surrounding the Tel Dan Stele underscores the importance of critical analysis in archaeology. Every discovery must be rigorously examined, its context carefully considered, and its implications thoroughly debated. Consider now how this applies when evaluating historical sources. No single artifact or text should be taken as absolute truth. Instead, we must piece together the available evidence, compare different perspectives, and acknowledge the inherent biases that may be present. The Tel Dan Stele, in its fragmented state and biased perspective, serves as a potent reminder of the complexities of historical interpretation. It's not just about finding the truth, but about understanding the multiple layers of meaning and the diverse voices that shaped the past. This discovery, though seemingly small, irrevocably altered the landscape of biblical archaeology and continues to invite scholarly discussion even today. To truly appreciate the Tel Dan Stele's significance, we must delve into the historical context of the Iron Age Levant, a region characterized by shifting alliances, frequent warfare, and the rise and fall of numerous kingdoms. The 9th century BCE was a particularly volatile period, marked by the expansionist ambitions of the Aramean kingdom of Damascus, a major power vying for control of territory along the northern and eastern borders of Israel and Judah. The Old Testament portrays the relationship between Israel and Aram Damascus as one of near-constant conflict. Kings like Ahab and Jehu faced repeated military incursions from the Arameans, who sought to extract tribute and exert political influence. The Tel Dan Stele offers an Aramean perspective on these events, casting the king of Damascus as a victorious conqueror who subjugated the House of David. It's imperative to realize that history is rarely written by the vanquished, and this stele provides a rare glimpse into the victor's narrative. Building on this, however, it's crucial to acknowledge the inherent biases present in such a royal inscription. Kings often commission these monuments to glorify their achievements and legitimize their rule, exaggerating their successes and downplaying their failures. The Tel Dan Stele, therefore, should not be taken as an objective account of historical events, but rather as a carefully crafted piece of propaganda designed to bolster the king of Damascus's image and assert his dominance. Consider, too, the broader geopolitical landscape of the ancient Near East. The rise of the Neo-Assyrian Empire in the 9th century BCE cast a long shadow over the region, threatening the independence of smaller kingdoms like Israel, Judah, and Aram Damascus. These kingdoms were forced to navigate a complex web of alliances and rivalries in order to survive in the face of Assyrian aggression. The conflicts between Israel and Aram Damascus, as reflected in both the Old Testament and the Tel Dan Stele, can be seen as part of this larger struggle for power and survival. Another crucial layer is the understanding of ancient Near Eastern conceptions of kingship and divine authority. Kings were often viewed as divinely appointed rulers, responsible for maintaining order and ensuring the prosperity of their kingdoms. Their military victories were interpreted as signs of divine favor, and their inscriptions were intended to communicate this message to both their subjects and their rivals. The Tel Dan Stele, in this context, can be seen as an attempt by the King of Damascus to demonstrate his divine mandate and assert his legitimacy as a ruler. Now, think about how this applies when you encounter conflicting accounts of historical events. The Old Testament and the Tel Dan Stele offer differing perspectives on the relationship between Israel and Aram Damascus. Neither account is necessarily more true than the other. Rather, they represent different viewpoints shaped by different agendas. To gain a more complete understanding of the past, we must carefully consider all available evidence, acknowledge the biases inherent in each source, and strive to reconstruct a nuanced and multifaceted picture of events. Understanding the historical context allows us to move beyond simplistic interpretations and appreciate the complex interplay of political, social, and religious factors that shaped the ancient world. Scientific investigation into the Tel Dan Stele extended far beyond initial decipherment. Dating the basalt fragment became a critical endeavor, requiring a multi-pronged approach. Epigraphic analysis, meticulously comparing the letter forms to other known Aramaic inscriptions, provided a relative time frame. The style of the script, its evolution over decades, offered vital clues. Paleographers scrutinized the minute details, the slant of a particular stroke, the curve of a specific letter, to situate the stele within a chronological sequence of Aramaic writing. However, epigraphy alone couldn't provide an absolute date. Consequently, archaeologists turned to contextual dating. The stele was discovered within a specific archaeological layer, sealed beneath later constructions. Analyzing the associated pottery shards and other artifacts found in the same stratum offered further clues. Typological studies of the pottery, classifying them according to their shape and decoration, helped to narrow down the period during which that layer was deposited. Beyond pottery, organic materials, if present, could be subjected to radiocarbon dating. Though the stele itself is inorganic, remnants of organic matter trapped within its crevices or in the surrounding soil could provide valuable information about the age of the context in which it was buried. This method exploits the natural decay of carbon-14, a radioactive isotope, to estimate the time elapsed since the organism died. Yet radiocarbon dating has limitations. Its accuracy depends on the preservation of organic material and the availability of suitable samples. Furthermore, the method provides a range of dates, not a precise pinpoint in time. Therefore, archaeologists often combine radiocarbon dating with other dating techniques to refine their estimates. In the case of the Tel Dan Stele, scientists also employed petrographic analysis. This involved examining the stone's composition under a microscope to determine its origin. By comparing the basalt's mineral content to that of known quarries in the region, researchers could potentially pinpoint the source of the stone. This information, while not directly dating the inscription, could provide insights into the stele's manufacture and transportation, adding another layer of understanding. Consider for a moment how these dating methods are analogous to detective work. Each technique provides a piece of the puzzle, and only by combining them can we build a complete picture. Epigraphy is like analyzing handwriting to identify the author. Contextual dating is like examining the crime scene for clues. Radiocarbon dating is like using forensic science to determine the time of death. and petrographic analysis is like tracing the origins of a weapon. One fascinating revelation uncovered through meticulous analysis was the stele's secondary use. The basalt fragment wasn't originally created for the inscription it now bears. Rather, it was likely part of a larger monument or structure that was later broken up and reused as building material. The inscription was carved onto a repurposed stone, suggesting a period of upheaval or conquest when existing monuments were destroyed and their materials recycled. This detail offers a tangible glimpse into the turbulent history of the region, a story of empires clashing and civilizations crumbling. Now think about the implications of this secondary use. It suggests that the king of Damascus, after his victory, may have deliberately desecrated or destroyed a monument belonging to the defeated House of David, repurposing its materials to construct his own victory stele. This act of symbolic destruction would have served as a powerful statement of dominance, a way of erasing the memory of his rivals and asserting his own authority. The Tel Dan Stele, therefore, is not just a historical document, it's a testament to the complex interplay of power, politics, and ideology in the ancient world. Reflecting on this journey so far, we begin to perceive the subtle architecture of understanding taking shape. It's not merely about accumulating facts, like stacking stones. It's about discerning the mortar that binds them, the unseen forces that molded them into a coherent structure. The past, as we've glimpsed it, isn't a static tableau, but a dynamic process, a river constantly reshaping its banks. Consider, if you will, the image of a palimpsest, an ancient manuscript where layers of writing have been superimposed upon one another, each partially obscuring and partially illuminating what lies beneath. The Old Testament, viewed through the lens of archaeological discovery and historical contextualization, reveals itself to be precisely such a document. It's a composite of voices, perspectives, and agendas, each contributing to a complex and often contradictory narrative. The allure of definitive answers, the desire for a clear and unambiguous interpretation, is a powerful force. Yet the deeper we delve into the past, the more we recognize the inherent limitations of such an approach. The evidence is always incomplete, the sources are invariably biased, and the interpretations are inevitably shaped by our own preconceptions. The quest for absolute certainty, therefore, is ultimately a futile one. Instead, the true value lies in embracing the ambiguity, in acknowledging the multiple layers of meaning, and in appreciating the inherent complexity of the human experience. It's about learning to navigate the gray areas, to grapple with uncomfortable truths, and to recognize that the past is not a fixed entity, but a constantly evolving construct. Drawing these strands together, we see a narrative far richer and more challenging than the simplified versions often presented. It's a narrative that demands critical engagement, intellectual humility, and a willingness to question long-held assumptions. The very act of inquiry becomes a transformative process, reshaping our understanding of ourselves and our place in the world. As we pivot towards the final reflection, consider the cumulative effect of our exploration. It's akin to assembling a mosaic, each individual piece seemingly insignificant on its own, yet contributing to a larger, more intricate design. The Old Testament, viewed in its entirety, reveals a profound tapestry of human experience, woven with threads of faith, doubt, love, loss, and the enduring struggle for meaning. What emerges is a story not of flawless heroes and simple morality, but of flawed individuals grappling with complex moral dilemmas in a world of constant change. The anticipation builds as we approach the ultimate revelation, the final piece of the puzzle that will redefine how we perceive this foundational text. Stepping back from the fragmented stones and ancient scripts, from the dust of archaeological digs and the debates of scholars, what truly remains? It isn't a collection of dates, names, and places neatly arranged on a timeline. It's something far more profound, far more human. It's the echo of voices across millennia, whispering tales of resilience, betrayal, faith, and doubt. It's the recognition that the struggles we face today, the questions we grapple with, are not unique to our time. They are the same struggles, the same questions that have haunted humanity since the dawn of consciousness. The Old Testament, then, isn't a relic of a bygone era, encased in the amber of history. It's a living mirror, reflecting our own hopes and fears, our own capacity for both great good and unspeakable evil. It's a reminder that we are all, in a sense, characters in an ongoing drama, playing out our roles on the stage of existence. And just as the actors in a play bring their own interpretations to the script, so too do we bring our own perspectives to the interpretation of the past. Perhaps the most shocking truth of all is that the Old Testament isn't about the past at all. It's about the present. It's about the choices we make, the values we uphold, and the legacy we leave behind. It's about the enduring power of stories to shape our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. It is a testament to the human condition, its inherent contradictions, and its relentless pursuit of meaning. The final revelation, then, isn't a single earth-shattering fact, but a shift in perspective. It's the realization that the Old Testament is not a static text to be passively consumed, but a dynamic conversation to be actively engaged in. It's a call to question, to challenge, to reinterpret, and to reimagine. It's an invitation to bring our own experiences, our own insights, and our own values to the table, and to engage in a dialogue with the past that can illuminate the present and shape the future. The true practice begins now, not in memorizing verses or reciting doctrines, but in embracing the complexity, the ambiguity, and the inherent contradictions of the human story. It begins in recognizing that the Old Testament is not a set of answers, but a set of questions. And it is in the asking of those questions, in the relentless pursuit of understanding, that we truly begin to connect with the wisdom of the ancients and to find our own place within the grand narrative of humanity. Go forth then, and let the journey of discovery continue, for the richest treasures are often found not in the finding, but in the seeking.